Like it's just like if you're liking your old bitch's shit, you're doing all this performative stuff.
Yeah, you're going back to the old you, dude.
Yeah.
It's not good.
You really think she's gonna go back? I mean, I guess I don't know shit about their relationship. I mean, I don't know why she would marry him in the first place, but she was doing all right. The fuck?
Yeah.
She had a couple bangers. You don't get to be rich.
Grimes?
Yeah, she's rich.
Yeah,
right?
Grimes is great music. Get her back on to discuss it. I mean, I don't know.
What's his cock look like? Let me get 5 minutes with Grimes. Come on, Grimes. There's no way he was eating.
The reason
pussy
Elon liked
Why
that
are you
tweet.
so buff? Is it necessary?
Yeah, get
What?
his ass.
I don't
Grimes.
know. I like working out.
Why are you so buff?
She got your ass. That little nervous chuckle at the end. Grimes outfit your bitch ass.
She did. She did. I don't think Grimes is coming back on. I think I've shit on Elon too much. Like she's still that's still her, baby daddy.
But that's a very fraught relationship theory.
Oh, Grimes liked this tweet. Did you see this?
I did see that.
Grimes liked this
That's
tweet.
so fucking awesome. What's up, Grimes?
Yeah. What did you
you?
say about this? He said like that's the best the worst thing about them is that they made such giant penises. Yeah.
I was going through this guy's thing just because I was like, who is this person? And he's like so anti. It's like the fact that this kind of guy exists. He's like a pagan. He talks about how Christianity has corrupted our society. Like we need to get back to go to the Hellenist.
I don't even want to click on this shit, dude. What the fuck is that?
Christ is dead. Zeus is king. I mean, he's like, it's like, stop, dude.
Oh my God, he's such a nerd. Grimes follows him. I thought he was like, I mean, he's a Nazi, isn't he? When Europe converted from Greco-Roman morality to Judeo-Christian morality, men changed from predators into herd animals. We have been degenerating ever since.
Imagine what this guy looks like. He probably
like
is
that.
fat as shit.
Yeah, the guy on the right, 100%.
And also, it's like the Spartans never got pussy. They all fucked each other in the ass. They only fucked women to make Spartans. They punted their fucking
they punted the ones that they didn't like. Like this guy, bro. If you have an account dedicated to like Hellenism on Twitter, like you're getting punted as a baby.
Yeah, dude, this guy.
Like you are not making it out of the baby pile, dog. Let's be real.
Is he Greek? I'll go Greek for Greek.
I don't know what I don't know what it is, but like I'm just saying, like this implies neurodivergence, which implies you're going in the baby pile. Okay, and same goes for me. Like same goes for most of the motherfuckers now.
Not me. I'm fucking sturdy.
Yeah, you are sturdy.
I would fuck some people up on the battlefield.
Yeah, you'd be sucking off all the Spartans.
Yeah,
You'd be polishing them.
Dude, I would mind trick them into sucking my dick. That's why I'm Athenian, bro. I'm from the fucking. We were out there fucking writing plays and shit. We weren't sucking each other. We were getting pussy. We weren't working out and fucking each other in the ass.
The gayest,
we were fucking each other in the ass, but after after poetry.
The gayest thing you could do is like write poetry, but they were the ones fucking all the women. Yeah, all the big burly men are like fucking each other.
They really were, dude. It was like it was posters.
Yeah,
the equivalent of ancient posters.
Yeah, all the theater kids were like fucking women, which all the Spartan like burly boys were like, that's gay, dog. I don't want to do that shit. What the fuck?
That'll stop my training.
Yeah.
Literally, they didn't live with their wives. I've been on an ancient Greek kick recently. I've been reading about them. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to watch a video about how like Islam was gay as fuck and how there was homosexuality in Islam. Because you've talked about it before with like ancient Greece.
Yeah.
And like how, the idea of like gay sex was not even a thing until like Christian.
You were only gay if you got your ass fucked as a grown man.
Yeah, that, but also, yeah, exactly.
You could fuck other men in the ass, and you could fuck, let's say, preteens in the ass. Let's put it that way.
That was a very politically correct way of describing what was going on.
Child molestation.
Yeah. But basically, like, I mean, there was nothing like, it wasn't like a crime. It was, as a matter of fact, decriminalized, even though it wasn't a crime in the Ottoman Empire in the 18th century.
Wow.
And
decriminalized being gay?
Yeah, they decriminalized it in the 18th century, even though it wasn't even a fucking crime, as during Reformation.
Wow, dude. They were like, we got to modernize around here. We got to suck each other's cocks.
Yeah, I mean, which is why I'm saying like it's something that like all the fucking weird goobers in my chat always like lose their minds over, where they're like, dude, there's no fucking way, dog. Like, why are you saying the Muslim world is woke? Like, everything I know about the Muslim world is that it's not woke, actually.
Yeah,
which is ironic because like I'm usually shitting on the dumbass Muslims, like the fundamentalists who think like they are being anti-Western by upholding fundamentalist principles when like some of those fundamentalist principles came from the fucking West without them realizing it.
It's natural to suck your boy's dick.
Yeah.
After praying to
Welcome to
Mecca.
Al-Muqaddimah. My name is Stavros. Today we're going to talk about homosexuality in the pre-modern Islamic
Finally.
world. While today
Finally,
the
something I can
Islamic
sink my
world
teeth
and
into.
homosexuality don't seem to go together, in the past there was a rich tradition of homosexuality being expressed through stories and poetry.
I love that you can't take this seriously because like he's very clearly like this is a video essay, like he's taking this very seriously. He's gonna look at a historical approach and be like, ha, gay.
My brain
Fucking
is so
gay.
stupid. Just the idea of like some fucking Turks in the 1700s writing poetry about each other's asses.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
Sitting under a tree with their big pants.
You're like, got him. He's being sus. Caught in 4K. Fucking caught in 4K, baby.
Fuck, dude.
While it was never completely allowed, it did become an open secret. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
Let's get Austin back for this section.
Yeah, he would have loved this.
Nice, get the bell going. Al-Muqaddimah.
This video is sponsored by Magellan TV. Magellan TV is a streaming service.
Fast forward, no free clout.
Before we begin, I'd like to say two things. First, the term Islamic or Islamic world is often objected upon by people because it seems to imply that Islam is responsible for whatever the topic of discussion might be. Here, as in all of my videos, the term Islamic world is used for its geographical meaning. The world that comprised of empires that called themselves Muslims. Of course, this is a huge region, going at times from Spain
They got
to
hot
India,
at the right time.
and not
They
everyone
popped the
followed
fuck
the same
off.
practices and social norms. Second, there was a lot of pederasty in the Islamic world. Older or even old men often had sex with underage children, mainly boys. In the modern times, we call that rape. This video isn't about that.
Thanks. Why did he put the
Putting the
subscribe
subscribe
button right on
animation
top
right
of
around fucking
pederasty, dude? That's crazy. That's a crazy place to point that.
I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about that.
Are you not collabing anymore? Aren't Ray Ludd and Myung waiting? Bro, how about you shut the fuck up? Obviously, I'm going to fucking be there at 4:30, and I clearly told them ahead of time that was what was going on, and they're just starting early.
Yeah.
Like, you think I don't fucking know? You think
the
I haven't
fuck up.
thought this through? Oh, man, thanks for fucking...
Oh, some dickhead in the chat told me. I almost
Oh,
forgot.
shit, dude.
We got burritos to eat. We got making fun of gay Turks to do right now.
Okay, we're not making fun...
Right? If I
Okay,
read it-
you're Greek. You can't do that. You can't say, lol, Turks were gay when your fucking history is riddled with exactly this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we got better statues.
Yeah, Turks learned it from the
Where
Greeks.
the fuck are your statues,
Turks
motherfucker?
learned this from the Greeks, okay?
Show me the fucking statues, bitch.
in a video about
Well,
that.
unfortunately, Islam had like a big no-no on that was a big L for Islam.
Huge
like all you
L.
could do was like fucking draw, oranges and shit.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Fuck
No
your whole-
statues. It's like,
Fucked your whole art up.
yeah, it's like, oh, it's a time of like paganism. We don't like that.
Homosexuality because they're two completely different things. But I know a lot of people will mention it in the comments, so I just wanted to address it here. Let's continue. Now, this is not a theology channel, but Islam's stance on homosexuality is related to its history, and so we must talk about it. Most, if not all, scholars of Islam maintain that homosexual acts are forbidden in Islam. In the modern era, there are some who are starting to find room for homosexuality, but before the modern era, there were no scholars, at least to my knowledge, who tried to reconcile homosexuality with Islam.
But that part of that is because like it wasn't even a thing. Like that wasn't even like it was an afterthought.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like
Yeah,
you
of
pointed
course you
out, it's
fuck-
like, oh yeah, of course you fuck dudes.
Yeah.
Prohibition
That
wasn't
kind of
merely in the hadiths. There could have been some room
Bro, you're
for
being real
discussion. But the
disrespectful
Quran
right now. Wait,
itself
why?
makes it quite clear with the story of the prophet Lut and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah for homosexuality. So, according to all schools of thought, it is forbidden. However, there's a range of opinions about the punishment for it. But like I said, this isn't a theology channel. This prohibition, however, didn't stop people from doing it. Before the modern era, there wasn't such a thing as a sexual identity. People could indulge in homosexual acts without having it contribute to their identity, especially in the Islamic world, where there was such a thing as homosexuality,
Look at
but
these
not
bros
such a thing
smiling.
as a homosexual.
having such a
Of course,
good time
there were
having
other
gay sex.
identities that sometimes overlapped with sexuality. For instance, there were women who dressed like men, and this contributed to their identity, but they could have sex with either men or women, and it
yeah,
had nothing to
dude.
do with how they dressed. Although I found
Nice.
it quite interesting that Ibn Sina, or as he's known in the West, Avicenna, actually talks about homosexuality being a state of being rather than just an act, though he considered it an incurable
You can be
disease.
gay without sucking
Of course,
dick.
even if you had homosexual relations, you were still expected to be part of a familial unit and have children. Of
course.
As long as you did that,
You
there
can
was
play
no
around and
dishonor
suck a little
or
cock
anything
on
like
your-
that
on the
for
weekends,
having
but
sex with a
you
person
gotta
of
have
the
a
same
wife.
gender. In fact,
now
it
we're
wasn't
talking.
even scandalous.
The
This was
burritos are
really
here,
true
folks.
For two of the Islamic monarchs who preferred to have sex with men. First, Abbasid Caliph Al-Amin, Harun al-Rashid's son and
What a
successor,
guy.
had a preference for eunuchs.
Thank you,
He
dude.
began appearing with them in public.
Bro, feel the
Oh,
weight
yeah.
of that fucking puppy right there.
Oh, that's a nice fucking.
It's got shrimp and filet mignon in it.
Dude.
It's so fire.
I can't wait.
It is so gas.
Mukbang.
Oh yeah.
Mukbang.
We're about to have some girthy ones right now while talking about gay Muslims, dude.
That's another thing. I want a jacked girl or like a little Korean girl that also does mukbangs. I either gotta get jacked or I
Okay,
gotta
well
get fat
that
as
one
shit.
is that one.
I gotta get fat.
That
as
one's a
shit.
given, dude. That's like the dream. Just loud and sloppy. Num 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 num. Yeah, you like that? You fucking like that, you dirty bastards? Bet you like that shit. How good is that? How good is that? Told you.
Oh yeah.
Absolute banger, dude. I'm a little bitch ass burrito bowl instead.
Pussy.
You know, I gotta fucking cut carbs wherever I can, dude. I gotta cut corners.
Not me. I'm bulking.
That burrito is gonna treat your ass like your forefathers treated his very straight male attendants. Yeah.
This was quite scandalous in Abbasid Iraq in the 9th century,
gonna delight
but
me.
primarily because it seems that Al-Amin was spending too much time with them instead of running the empire. So his mother, Queen Zubaydah, prepared a counter-attraction for him by dressing up beautiful girls in the clothing that was worn by eunuch
Didn't work.
servants at the time.
Damn.
Since Al-Amin began appearing with them in public, this started quite a trend of women wearing masculine clothing.
Trying to trick her son into
Second,
being
we know that
straight.
Caliph Al-Hakam II of Cordoba had a preference for men. This got to such a level that he didn't even touch women, and hence he couldn't produce an heir.
Wow.
His wife, Sub, had to cut her hair and start dressing up like men. She was even given the nickname of Jafar, a male name. Jafar was also the name of Al-Hakam's closest friend from childhood.
Damn.
Al-Hakam wasn't able to produce his first heir till he was 46.
He hated pussy
Other than
that
these two,
much.
we know stories of many homosexual relationships.
That's what I
between
never
monarchs and
understand. Like, you
courtiers.
can't even, like,
We know
drop
that
a-
Al-Hakam
drop
II's
one in there,
father,
you know what I
Abdurrahman
mean?
He couldn't have gotten his boy to jack him off. Into
That's
his
what I'm
wife's
saying,
pussy?
dude. That's what I mean. It's like you can't get like milked into. Just
Yeah,
get
fuck her in the
milked.
pussy while someone's fucking you in the ass. You can be the lucky Pierre, the guy in the middle.
So misogynistic, you only fuck dudes. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, how do
The
you
third,
not
and a
even?
male
Like, how
harem
can you
as
not
well
even
as a
do
female
it?
harem. We know that Al-Mu'tamid, the emir of the Taifa of
Like,
Seville,
push comes to shove, if the only way to fucking get an heir is by fucking a dude's ass, like,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
figure a way out. You know what I mean? I'll figure it out. Like, we'll
A girl
find a
sucks
way
my
to.
dick,
Yeah.
I fuck the guy's ass for a couple seconds. while
Yeah.
it's hard, pop it
Exactly.
out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, dude. These. That's what the Greeks would have never had this problem. We knew how to be gay and keep our fucking family going.
The best way to do it.
Bill was in love with a poet named Ibn Ammar. Wherever slave soldiers were involved, there was almost always a sexual relationship between the monarch and one or more of his trusted men.
Nice.
Some famous examples involve Mahmud of Ghazna and Malik Ayaz, Alauddin Khilji and Malik Kafur, and of course the Mamluks of Egypt were famous for it too. It was even so common among the Ottoman soldiers that they often appointed someone to keep an eye on new soldiers and their superiors. In the Islamic world, we usually don't see egalitarian homosexual relationships between two people of a similar social class. They were almost always between people of different social classes, monarchs and servants or slaves, Sufi teachers and their students, etc. Speaking of Sufis, one area where we often imagine homosexuality being common is Sufism. Sufi poetry is full of seemingly homoerotic themes and mentions love between men again and again. So naturally, it is often interpreted as being sexual in nature, but that's way too simplistic a view of this poetry. Obviously, it's not always easy to tell whether that love is just platonic love between two friends or if it's romantic, and even if it's romantic, does it involve sex? I mean, in the modern mind, Rumi and Shams Tabrizi were lovers in the night time, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. Of course, Rumi loved Shams Tabrizi, there's hardly any debate about that, but it's tough to tell what kind of love that was. Rumi was an adherent to the Sharia, and he explicitly talked against sodomy, so we can assume that their relationship wasn't sexual. However, that wasn't the case for all Sufis. Sufis spanned the entire spectrum in regards to their adherence to the Sharia. Some Sufis stuck to the Sharia to the finer details, while some rejected it almost completely. While none outright admit to having sex with other men out of the fear of Orthodox Muslims, there are inferences here and there. This also extended to the concept of Shahidbazi. To grossly simplify the concept, Shahidbazi is the idea that you can love God by loving one of God's creations, which mostly meant beautiful men and boys. Again, how far you can go in this was debated. Could you just appreciate their beauty? Could you love them? Or could you even have sex with them? Among the advocates of Shahidbazi, we find names such as Jami, Attar, and Hafiz. Like I said before, none explicitly advocated for sex. Some people even interpret this love for other men in poetry to be a metaphor for their devotion to God. But then why use the metaphor of men and not women? Because a lot of Islamic philosophy was inspired by the ancient Greeks, and they usually mentioned the love between two men in their poetry. This was so common that unless otherwise stated,
I told you it was your fucking degenerate pervert ass that taught the Muslims how to be gay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You fucking learned from us, but we were just saying it as a thought experiment.
Oh yeah,
you
right.
were doing it for real.
Oh yeah. Greece notoriously never fucked
One
man
of the
out.
straightest. Yeah. Ancient Greeks, one of the straightest civilizations.
It's crazy.
an ancient Greek reader would normally assume that any kind of love mentioned in literature was between two men, contrary to most modern readers who'd usually assume
so
that
gay.
it was a man and a woman.
It's so gay. They were heterophobic, dude. They're like, what? You're fucking women? Ew. You're gross. What's wrong with you, dog? What the fuck? They were homonormative.
That's so sick.
Poets and scholars did say that attraction to other men is natural, but you must resist it and be pious. This includes Ibn Hazm, an Andalusian polymath who mentions stories of men who fell in love with other men and died from heartbreak. He also mentions how common homosexuality was in Al-Andalus and how people were often tolerant of it. This tolerance of homosexuality is even mentioned in contemporary Christian sources, which mention it, of course, as a sin of the lustful Arabs. While male homosexuality seems to be very common, we don't find many references toward female homosexuality. Europeans who visited the Islamic world in the late medieval and early modern periods imagined a lot of...
It's funny that, like, they're so misogynistic, they don't even care about women fucking each other.
It wasn't in the record.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, whatever.
Dude, how are you going to have a harem and you're not going to get double sucked by two of your fucking...
Oh my God, I know. What a missed opportunity.
Never been double slurped?
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's kind of embarrassing.
No, I have. What do you mean?
I was going to say.
No, of course I
was
have.
be like, what the fuck?
I love that. I'm
What's
saying.
the point?
Yeah. What's the point of being famous? I'm a big boy. So I understand why you thought I never got double slur, but
Don't even start
lesbian stuff going on in the harems, but there's hardly any mention of it in Islamic sources. One example I found interesting and funny is from a Venetian envoy at the court of the Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, who writes that if women of the harem wanted cucumbers, they were sent to them sliced, so they wouldn't use them for pleasure-related purposes. How much of this is reality and how much is just fantasy is tough to tell.
bro. So this is why all the people that worked in the harem, all the people that worked in harems were black originally, because they would know if, you know, the guy who worked with the concubines like fucked them because the baby would be half black. So then they realized like, oh shit, they're still fucking the sultan's wives.
Right.
So they started making them eunuchs. So people that worked in the harems were
Guys got their nuts chopped off.
yeah, they got their nut and dick
And cock?
and cock. Yeah.
They didn't even let them keep their cock for like...
No, because like you can still use the cock to fuck someone even if you have the balls.
Really?
So what they would do is all the fucking eunuchs that worked in the harem would have like this metal piece. I've seen it. Like I went to the Topkapi Palace. This metal fucking piece that they would hide in their hats. They would have to use that when they're peeing. To put like a metal piece right there where the cock was to pee. And they of course all died like very early.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. No, not like that. I mean, I think like you get infection and stuff.
No cock? Brutal.
Yeah.
Though this is probably almost completely fantasy because there's basically
get
no
their
way
asses
that the
swapped?
Anwar would know what
that
went
feel
on
good?
in the harem. We do know of one example from Abbasid Caliph al-Hadi's era. He was Harun al-Rashid's brother and predecessor. He beheaded 2 women in his harem because he had caught them in a lesbian affair. There are some mentions of female homosexuality
Hater.
outside the harem. There are even female poets
Hater
who wrote
alert.
about female lovers in the same way that male poets often wrote about male lovers. Though unfortunately, we only know of these poetesses due to them being mentioned in passing, and their poetry hasn't survived in large numbers. Interestingly, Muhammad al-Idrisi mentions that women who were intelligent often took female lovers because they didn't want to submit to the wishes of men. It also seems that Ottoman hammams or bathhouses were quite an attraction for ladies to see their female lovers. So much so that Orthodox Muslims took the matter to the Sultan, who appointed guards to some bathhouses. Although I
Dude,
can't
what the
imagine
fuck?
it was very effective since the guards were men. So, how exactly did homosexuality become so common
Yeah, if I'm one
in a
of those
society
guards, I'm
where
like,
it was
guys
outright?
were
You
like,
guys can do whatever you
yeah,
want.
the guys were like, this is fire.
Various ideas on how early Muslims reacted to homosexuality. One idea is that homosexuality was already quite common in some of the areas that the Muslims conquered, such as Iran. Additionally, Muslims started studying Greek philosophy, which clearly had homoerotic themes, so Islamic
Bro, what the fuck?
Relax. Oh,
Bro,
I read
you're
a book
pe-
and now I turned gay.
Yeah,
you
dude.
were already gay.
Ben Shapiro was right, dude. Ben Shapiro's fucking right. It's the Greeks all along. They fucking came in with their gay shit, with their gay poetry, and the strong Iranian men
If
who
I
were
read
like,
that same fucking thing, I wouldn't start wanting to suck your dick.
yeah, right,
Those
dude. Because you're
motherfuckers-
Greek already, dude.
They wanted to suck cock, and they blamed it on reading a fucking Greek book or two.
Fucking taught them how to be gay.
philosophy, and in particular poetry, helped normalize these ideas. Credibility is lent to this idea by the
The
fact
G
that
in
most
LGBT stands for Greek.
pre-Islamic Arabic poetry used metaphors involving
lesbian,
female lovers
bisexual, and
and not
Turkish.
male lovers, but slowly poetry began to shift toward male lover metaphors. For more credibility, we can see that when discussing homosexuality in the medieval Islamic world, there's a huge emphasis on people's passive and active roles during intercourse, just like there was in
Yeah,
ancient
it's pretty
Greece.
funny. Like, there's
We
like
also
drawings and
cannot
shit
put
like
aside
that.
the impact that gender-based
Smile.
segregation in the Islamic world must have had on the development of homosexuality as a necessity. While homosexuality was quite common, premarital heterosexual intercourse, or zina, doesn't seem to be that common. This was certainly what Al-Jahiz had in mind when he wrote that homosexuality came to the Islamic world from Khorasan when, during the Abbasid revolution, their commander, Abu Muslim, forbade his men from having contact with women. Now, while it was normalized, it was still criminalized. In early history, we do find examples of people being punished for homosexuality, but later on, these examples become increasingly rare. As a result, the Islamic world developed, as Stephen Murray calls it, the will not to know. It became an open secret.
Don't ask, don't
You could
tell.
have sex with a person of the same gender, but let's not talk about it.
These motherfuckers went through don't ask, don't tell in like the 17th century, though. Like, America was doing that like last year, you know what I mean? These guys were like, yeah, okay, it's fine. Just like, do the butt fucking. Just don't tell anybody.
Just quiet down. Keep quiet. Have some respect. Have some decorum.
About it. Now, a lot of people think that the Ottoman Empire decriminalized homosexual acts in 1858, but that's not really true. Suleiman the Magnificent's law code had actually criminalized it, but the punishment was mostly just a fine. This stands in stark contrast.
Dude, that's again, yeah. This comparison is important for people to understand it because it's like, one, it was not pursued. Like, nobody was like getting fucking genuinely lashed for or anything like that. But also,
Fellas, come over. I got the fine money on the table. Me and the boys are coming together.
But also, in comparison to what was going on in Europe at the time here, which he'll compare, like, that shit was infinitely woke. That shit that's woke for, like, America right now, certain parts of America.
To Europe, where in England and Germany, the punishment at the same time was death. This was also the era when female characters in theater were played by young boys in Elizabethan England. The same was true for most of the rest of the Islamic world. However, like I mentioned, charges were usually not brought up against anyone in the Islamic world. This was because you need witnesses to prosecute someone, and if an act was committed in private, then technically you couldn't be prosecuted for it. So, in practice, sodomy was okay in private. But then again, most things are legal if no one catches you. The 1858 Penal Code The 1858 Penal Code didn't mention homosexual acts in private. It only mentioned performing indecent acts in public, which it made illegal. So that's where the misconception comes from. So this brings us to the question, what changed? I mean, of course, today the Islamic world isn't exactly considered friendly to homosexuality. Even if homosexuality in the Islamic world still exists, and it certainly does, it's not as open as it used to be. Poets don't openly talk about their male lovers anymore. In fact, the modern editions of medieval poems and stories that had a lot of homoerotic themes, such as Abu Nuwas's poetry and the Arabian Nights, are now published after heavy censorship. This change almost seems to be
irony is
overnight.
like they censor
As with
old
all
poetry.
socio-political changes, it's a little tough to pinpoint the timeline and the reasons. The transition happened roughly in the 5 decades around the 1900s, from the 1870s.
It's literally modernization and the Western influence. That's it. It's literally European influence that made the Islamic world more anti-gay, which is why it is incredibly ironic when dumbass fucking fundamentalist Muslims now in the Muslim world think that their proximity to like LGBT stuff is actually like a marker for how untainted that they are by like European traditions, because they're like, oh, all the Europeans are gay as fuck.
Nah, you stole that. You somehow stole being gay and homophobic.
Yeah, literally. How the fuck do you do that, dude? Both sides.
70s to the 1920s. We know that even in the first half of the 19th century, people were writing about homosexuality. A Moroccan writer who visited Paris, for instance, shows his surprise at how all flirtation, romance, and courtship is reserved only for women. In the second half of the 19th century, most of the Islamic world was under foreign rule, and so Muslim scholars began to think that this was because we had strayed from God's path, and hence we had lost his favor. So many reformist and revivalist movements began to appear and gain power. We saw the Deobandi movement in India, the Salafi or Wahhabi movement in Arabia, etc. These movements gained influence and were able to push for stricter punishments for homosexuality. These punishments were, frankly, less in line with the norms of the Islamic world than they were with Victorian England. Certainly, Victorian
concert while you fuck your boy in the ass.
Hey, the one getting ass fucked seems concerned though.
Hey, chill, guys. I'm trying to bust.
Yeah.
Why is the marching band here?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck, dude?
values did
so
influence
rude.
the shift
I hate when
in
that
Islamic
happens.
I
values.
hate when
Try
that
to-
happens.
I'm trying to
fuck
nut in my
in the
boy.
ass. I'm raw dogging my best friend, and then the fucking
And then the whole town comes in with their fucking musical instruments.
Ability
and
is
the
lent to this
saints
idea by the fact
come
that
marching
even the
in.
Hindus of India, the people who wrote the Kama Sutra and drew this, were against homosexual relationships by the 1920s. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. On the screen right now, you can see the names and tiers of the patrons. You can join them by pledging $1 or
start
more
watching
to
shit
support
like
the
this.
channel. Thank you for watching.
This
This
good
was great.
stuff. Shout out to this guy. Another really good YouTube channel for you guys is Stavros World, a brand new podcast that you're all gonna love. Hasan will come on sometime
Eventually,
when
I'm
he's in New
down.
York.
I'm down, I went
Don't
on.
forget, the way you got the knowledge of the basketball is through me.
That is true.
Asking him on my original Twitch show.
That is fucking true. Unfortunately, you're making me reconsider coming.
We're getting a new little piece of lore.
Holy
out there.
fuck, yeah.
Yes.
It was okay when the first bugler watched me dick down the homie, but after